Hey guys, this is Gabriel Lorenzi, creator of the blog Grupo Dicas, one of the biggest travel blogs in the world, and today I am here to tell you what to do in Pisa and Lucca. Many people reserve one day of their itinerary through Tuscany and Italy to visit these two cities, which we think are sensational and you should visit too. So we are going to give you some quick tips here to help you set up your itinerary and know what to see, how to plan, how to get there, and finally the main tips for you to make your tour in Pisa and Lucca. So give us that like, don't forget to subscribe to the channel because that really helps us a lot, and buckle up! Well, Italy is a sensational place. It's one of our favorite countries in the world. We have already traveled there twice because we love that country and we explored the Tuscany part very well. Many people like to go there on their first trip, visit Rome, Florence, and a piece of Tuscany there. We have a very nice video that talks about a unique and perfect itinerary for Tuscany. It's very good for you to stay a few days in Rome and then do the whole Tuscany itinerary. But our focus today will be on Pisa and Lucca. They are two very nice cities, but they're very small and don't have so many tourist attractions, so that's why our recommendation is what most tourists do, is to stay only one day. So a drive there is more than enough for you to get to know these two cities. Many doubts arise. Do I sleep one day in Pisa or not? We had this doubt a lot on our first trip, but we saw that it's really not worth it. So schedule a round trip. We think the easiest way is to be in Florence. So we have already taken an extra day in Florence to be able to go there. By train you arrive in less than an hour. It's very fast and very easy, very simple indeed. There's even in the description of the video here below, I'll leave a link to a train tickets comparator, which is the biggest in Europe. It's very good. You put there the route and it offers you all the options of companies that do this route. You can already make a reservation, and the train in Europe works very well. And if you have a rental car, go by car. It's very close, 40 minutes. It's very simple, and then from Pisa to Lucca it's 20 minutes. So it's a very nice trip, very easy and fast, and it's worth including. So arriving in Florence, if you arrive by train, you'll get off at a station and you will see that everybody does the same movement. Everybody goes towards the Piazza dei Miracoli, which is where the famous Leaning Tower of Pisa is. So if you follow the flow or the signs, you get there very easily. It's not hard to find, and by car it's also very well signposted. So our tip is go straight to the Miracle Square. It's the main attraction in the city of Pisa because it's where three of the main attractions are concentrated, which are the famous Tower of Pisa, which everybody knows and everybody wants to take a picture there. There's no way you can go to Italy and not take a picture holding the Tower of Pisa. There is also the Baptistery, which is a very beautiful church, which is also called the Duomo of Pisa. It has several names and it's very beautiful. It's on the side of the Leaning Tower, so it forms a very beautiful scenery. There is an angle that you can see the church, and in the background the tower. It's very nice because it looks like the same construction. It looks like one is part of the other, so it's also a nice place to visit. And in the back of the square, a little bit behind the church and the baptistery, there is the Campo Santo, which is a very monumental cemetery. It's not a flat open cemetery. You will see that it's a building that also follows the same architecture of these other two buildings. And to see all these sites, you need a ticket. The ticket for the Church of Pisa, for the Baptistery, also this one you don't have to pay, but you have to book it, but you don't have to buy it. So you can do it there on the day, or sometimes on the internet it's available. So take a look. We ended up not visiting them because we were in a hurry. We only visited the Tower of Pisa. It's very worthwhile for the Tower of Pisa. You have to buy the ticket, but it's a very nice experience. You can climb up there and you can see the city of Pisa from a very beautiful panorama. It's not so recommended for those who have a little bit of difficulty in moving around because the steps are very complicated. They are very different. They're not very regular and they are a little bit steep, short. It's a little bit complicated to go up there, but if you can and if you have the disposition, it's very cool and very beautiful. So buy in advance because the line gets huge. An important tip that we always mention for Pisa, and especially for Rome, Florence, and the other cities in Italy, buy the tickets beforehand. You will see that there's a huge queue at the time. Sometimes people stay there there for 2 or 3 hours. The line at the Colosseum is absurd, and the one at the Vatican is absurd too, so you have to buy in advance because it's cheaper. Online it's always cheaper than in person because you don't pay the 6.5% IOF that you would pay buying there in another currency, and you travel with the tickets in hand, so it's much more worthwhile. We'll leave here in the description of the video the link to the site where we bought the tickets from Italy, which we found very good. It's the site that always has the best price. It has all the tours of the cities, Europe and Italy, so you can go there, select everything and buy everything in only one place. It's much easier and safer, and you travel with your tickets. You will notice that you will go straight through the giant queue of people. In Pisa, it's a little bit faster than other cities. It's more this square, this attraction. You see that's pretty fast. Take a picture holding the Tower of Pisa. You will see that there are a lot of people. It's even funny. If you look at it from an angle where you can't see the tower, it looks like a bunch of crazy people standing still. But you will see that there is always some position to try to hold the tower. There are a lot of people, but try to find a space because it's always possible, and you will end up spending about 3 hours. With 3 or 4 hours, you can easily see it. Our tip: go there early, go to the Plaza dos Milagres, see everything, and then eat there because there are some very nice restaurants. If you leave the Tower of Pisa and go towards the city center, there are some very nice restaurants. Have a very nice meal. Then you can either go to Luca or visit in 1 or 2 hours the center of the city, some attractions in Pisa. They are not as famous or as popular as the one in Piazza del Miracoli, the Leaning Tower, but they are also very nice. If you leave from there, you will pass through Corso Italia, which is of one of the main streets. It's the main street in Pisa. If you follow it, you will see that the flow goes towards the Town Hall Square, which is a very important tourist spot. It's where you have the Palazzo Gamba Corte, and you also have a very nice place, which is the Gentleman's Square. It's where the old Roman Forum of the city used to be, and today is the headquarters of the Escola Normal Superior, which is a very important place. They value this historical place of Pisa very much, but it's a quick place too. You can see quickly, and then our tip: go to Luca. If you have a car, a tip that we mentioned is use the price comparator. I don't know if you know it, but it's a sensational tool. We always use it, and you get much cheaper car rentals. I'll leave the link here in the description of the video. It's a comparator that's the biggest in the world. You enter there, put in the date of your trip, the place where you pick up your car, and the place where you return it, and it does a search in all the car rental companies at once and shows you all the prices, so you can find the best option, guaranteed promotional cars. So it's very good. We always save a lot. Be sure to use this tool. It's fundamental if you want to rent a car. And also, don't forget the travel insurance that's mandatory for Europe, right? For almost all countries in Europe, Italy is included in this list, so you need to have an international travel insurance that has a medical assistance of at least 30,000 euros. It's cheap, people are not aware of it, but it ends up costing 23 euros for a 10-day trip. A good insurance that provides this assistance and covers all this is very easy to do. There is a comparator that I'll leave here below too. It's similar to the one for cars. It compares the insurance in all insurance companies, in the best insurance companies, because only good international insurance companies are registered there. So in 5 minutes you go in, make your purchase. It's cheap, you receive it by email, you can print the policy, and that's it. You can travel and enter there easily, but use the price comparators because they help you a lot. And then at the end of your day in Pisa, each there have a gelato, which is very good. In the whole of Italy and in these little towns there are gelatos, which are the ice creams that we like a lot, and we drink them a lot, especially in the summer when it's very hot. And then you go to Luca. By car it will take you 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, and by train it's also very easy. Leaving from the Pisa station to Luca, it will take you 25 minutes, so it's very close. Arriving in Luca is nice. You will see that it's a city that participated a lot in the war, so it has a wall around it. It's a very differentiated place. It's a very small town. If you go there, you will see that it doesn't have as many tourist attractions as Florence, Rome, and Pisa. It's a little more, not humble, a little smaller. The population is much more small. You will see that it looks like a village. It's not even a city. You can even call it a city. So it's a very nice to get to know this style of city in Italy. And there are a few tourist attractions, not many. The main one is the Olmo of Lucca, which is a very nice church. It's the most famous, and it's located in Piazza Antelminelli, which is also a very nice square to take pictures, and it's one of the places that people love to go there to take pictures. It reflects very much of the Renaissance influence of the time, and it also has a very important history for the city. And the coolest thing about this church is that it's free, so you don't have to buy tickets to get in, and you don't have to pay anything while staying there. And if you have any questions, no matter how silly, send them to us. We'll help you plan your trip. We'll be happy to answer your questions, give you tips on the itinerary, which city to visit or not. Send it on social networks, that's even easier. Add us there at Pilorenz. You can send a direct, whatever, and we'll answer and help you with the greatest pleasure. We are always posting there our travel tips, our trips around the world, and our family routine with our little ones, which are a blast. So you can send us your questions and we're gonna answer. Another very cool thing, you will see it from afar from some points of the city, because the city is a little flat. It has little houses and very low buildings, and there is a tower that stands out, which is very high and it's very different. So it's very nice to see it too, which is the Guinigi Tower. I don't know if it's pronounced that way exactly, but it's a very beautiful place. We think the construction is very different, and you can go up there. It has a garden on top, which is very beautiful, which creates a contrast of having a hanging garden, a garden on top, and it has a breathtaking 360-degree view. You can see the whole city of Luca, the entrance, the exit, so it's very nice to go up there. You have to pay to get into this tower, but it's cheap. We went in, it was 4 euros. It's a symbolic amount to maintain, to help maintain the construction, and to go up there are 230 steps. It's not so easy. The steps are a little steep, the place is not so open, it's a little tight to go up, but we think it's worth it. If you can make it, if you can climb up there, go, because the view is very beautiful. And two other places that we think are worth a quick stop is Piazza Napoleone, which is a very nice square. It's the biggest square in the city. There's a sculpture in the center, there's sometimes a carousel that's there for people to ride, and there are some carriages around, some things. It's not such a big square, right? We talked about a big square, but it's compared to the standards of Pisa, and also there is the Basilica of San Frediano, which is another beautiful basilica, very beautiful, and it's in Piazza San Frediano. It's one of the most frequented by locals and visitors of the city as well. And then you finish your tour, so you won't spend more than 8 hours at the most to visit Pisa and Lucca and go back to your hotel, to Florence, where you are. So our tip, do the round trip, don't stay a day in Pisa, because it's not worth it, unless you really want to, unless you want to know the history of the place. Of course it's worth it. And many people ask, but Lucca, is it really worth it? We think so, because it's a very different place from the others, from being smaller, for having much more history and much more culture. We think it's nice to know the local culture, the life they have in these smaller towns. My family, my ancestors, my great-grandfather and great-great-grandfather were from Lucca, so I wanted to know that place, to know a little bit about our origin, about our family. But I think it's worth visiting, right? Unless you are short on time, you have a very short itinerary, go only to Pisa. I think Pisa is really your priority going there. The video here, give a like and subscribe to the channel, because that really helps us a lot. And be sure to watch the video on how to save a lot in Italy. It's a step-by-step guide that we did there for you to set up your whole trip to Italy with everything you need to know, the main tips and how to save a lot on everything. Your trip will be much cheaper and you will travel there knowing everything. So I'll leave this video on the side, and below here the playlist that has all the other videos for you to watch. And that's it, guys. Thank you very much and have nice trips.